Hey, have you heard about the Renaissance? No, well, you're look today. Because we are going to be talking about the Renaissance. The Renaissance is a defining period in human history. This transmutation between the Middle Age and the Modern Age. It broke many similar changes with it. Political, economic, but mostly artistical change. This stage is also really notorious because of its focus on human criteria, shifting the focus away from the religion. This caused religion to enter with crisis, which is on of own broke many chains with it. As I mentioned earlier, art is what suffered the most change during this period. Painting became the main tool for artists to cover their knowledge and their feelings. But and rather than trying to cover the human body, they made it the center of the attention. This being it's always something beautiful in the city or with the family. But this time paintings are really famous. Some of most important paintings are Leonardo da Vinci, Mona Lisa, and The Last Supper. The Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo and Raphael's Madonna, and many others. So in short, the Renaissance is the most important change in the human history, which mainly took place in change in art and the people watching and perceiving the things. You got it?
Hey, have you heard about William Shakespeare? Well, William Shakespeare is one of the most important writers in the course of all of human history. He is considered to be the most important writer in human history. So, and he also happened to write during the Renaissance, so we'll talk about him. He was born in Stratford-on-Avon in 1564, son to a wealthy family. It is believed that at first he didn't have any scenography for his plays, so what he did was compensate with his writing. So the way that he did it was to make his writing very rich and interesting. So the hardware he lacked will be well compensated for. Another special characteristic about Shakespeare's writing, it is that he's really remarkable in conveying human passions. So that makes his plays very rich and interesting. And he could convey different themes such as love, justice, evil, and revenge, and many other themes. Shakespeare's plays can be classified into different categories such as comedy, tragedy, and historical dramas. An example for comedy is The Merchant of Venice, a very well-known play. Second are tragedy. And one example of this can be Hamlet. And last but not least, historical dramas, which an example of this will be Henry IV. And because of the quantity and quality of his productions, many people doubted that Shakespeare really wrote his plays and even attributed them to other writers like Christopher Marlowe and Edward de Vere. So all in all, we could say that Shakespeare's incursion into the medium made theater what it is today.
Now we are going to talk about the different type of narrator. The narrator is not the author of the text, but he decides what to tell to the reader and what to hide, but it is not enough one narrator. The text could have a lot of them.
The characters are the most important thing on the history because without them there will be basically no history. So there are 3 specific characters. Those are the main one. The main one is the one who the story is about, and he has a lot of adventures and maybe he get in trouble sometimes. The other one is the secondary. The secondary maybe he's not that important as the main one, but he tells everything that he heard and he sees. So he's important sometimes. And finally, we have the narrator. The narrator is the most important one because he knows everything. He knows about the characters, he knows about the places, he knows about everything.
The classification of the characters are the main one, is which story is about. The secondary, each participation is lower than the main one, but it is important too. The incidental,
The incidental one is the character that appears only once in the history. And the wrong one, they have a lot of character and they think about the actions that they did in the past and the actions that they do in the present. The other ones are the environmental, that it helps to guide the place that the story is. The static one is the one that never changed no matter what, but he never changed. The dynamic one, I think, is the most popular because it's the one that changed because of the good or bad actions that they could commit. So I think we love that character. And the last one is the plain one, that it is guide for their actions that they could have, or for their friends, or for the goddess.
finally, we are at the end of this topic. We know more about literature. We have seen concepts like story, literature, characters, and them. Thank you for your attention.